Jordan mentioned how you're sort of treating the rest of the season as 5 finals. That with the idea that if you win out, you're effectively assured of making the playoffs. But anything less than that, who knows, right? Does that, like, I don't know. Do you take that attitude? Is it literally Austin is a final, or I don't know? What's your attitude going into this phase?
Look, I don't disagree with Jordan. I don't disagree with anybody, players on the team thinking like that. But my cautionary tale is you can't look ahead to the other 4 games. You got to focus on this one. Like, okay, let's just say, yeah, okay. And this is, look, that's wordplay. It's just a play on words, however you want to phrase it. Every game is critical. Every game at home is critical. You want to win your home games. You got to get something on the road. You know, you got the Cincy game where there'd be some internationals maybe missing. I mean, there's a lot of storylines within the last 5 games. Yes, they're all 5 finals, but let's just start focused on this first final against Austin.
And Austin is a team that's not that they've stumbled a little bit, but they're they're not so far removed from probably the apex of their season, which was beating LAFC at home. Obviously, a very good team. I mean, what do you make of Austin?
Well, Josh has come and done a really great job of figuring out his squad, because last year he went through some trials and tribulations. You know, I'm sure he would like to stick it to us because, you know, we went down there with 5 teenagers and that was a big storyline, and I could tell, you know, he was a proud guy and didn't like losing at home. So there's motivation. He's a good coach. He's tactically got his team playing the way he wants him to. He's got good players. So, yeah, it's a good team. Yeah, maybe their run of form isn't quite as good as mid-season, but still a dangerous team.
Does it make a difference, the fact that they're coming off of a 3-0 loss as opposed to one of their wins in the last couple months?
No. I mean, losses might motivate teams more. They'll be pissed.
You said last night Christian rolled on the aim would be for the SKC game. So how's his recovery been going here over these last few weeks?
Good. He actually started a little bit of jogging today. They've got a strict protocol for him, though. I mean, we're not going to rush him. But the hope is, and look, I know Christian very well. He's a tough kid. He might make it back. I'm just telling you.
Right, you're coming off a game where you had Josh and Danny in the midfield. Any more chance to think about what you liked that they did? It seemed like it really allowed the offensive guys to stay higher.
Yeah. I mean, look, it worked against Houston, although the flow of that game was they scored early, they dropped off. Was it realistic? Is Austin going to press higher up the field? You know, look, there's nuances to every game. But the last game, and upon review of the last game on film, Josh and Danny did a really good job of, you know, controlling that area of the field. You know, sometimes Danny with his ability to pass, you know, sometimes Josh with his athletic ability, and he dribbled out of some tight spots to get himself out of some jams and then found passes higher up the field. You know, so the two of them were a good pair. It shows that they played together at Defiance. They didn't look out of step at all.
Does it simplify the game a little bit when you have two where you can sort of like break the game into separate lines like that, where you know where they have a, it seemed to me that they had a more confined space they wanted to operate in than
You mean Danny and Josh?
Danny and Josh.
Yeah, just ahead of the 2 forwards, in between the midfield line and the forward line. That's what we always try and do. It sometimes doesn't work, but you always try and position your players in between lines. The spacing width-wise is the same. You know, it'll be a little different. You know, it depends on how they set up. You know, they play 4-3-3, but they actually defend in a little bit of 4-4-2. So we're watching film, you know, we'll try and make some adjustments to make sure that Danny and Josh can be effective. They bring their forwards in tighter a little bit in that initial defending. So there'll be little nuances that the kids will have to figure out. But yes, the objective is the same, to get them in the spots to advance the ball to the players higher up the field.
Coming off of your first win in a while, do you feel like there's a different vibe around the group these last couple of days of training?
Yeah, there was until, one team beat the other team today, and some of the guys are a little angry, but I take that as a good sign. The team doesn't like losing.
See, Andy's walking around in a boot there. Is he questionable for Austin?
Yeah, no. That's all right. Since Andy can't be our, emergency substitute in trainings, we can bring some of the other kids. We had Snyder Brunel up here today, and he's a exciting prospect. So, Andy's injury is actually a blessing for some of the young kids.
A couple days from the match, when you looked back and reflected on Nouhou's goal and assist, and just Jeremiah talked about it a lot. The stadium exploded when Nouhou scored and kind of sparked the team on. Can you just talk about that?
Yeah. I mean, I felt it. I think we all felt it, the people that were in the building. I think, on Twitter, Twitterverse, Instagram, all of that, you don't get the same feel. I know you guys put out some good videos. Everybody's smiling, happy, but it was a, important moment, critical moment. Look, had Raul scored a goal or, something would have sparked the team, yes. But because it came from an unlikely source, you kind of got a little bit more, hey, yeah, if this can happen, anything can happen. So I enjoyed it. I complimented Nouhou. The kids worked hard.
Freddie's goal was the first goal you've had from a player coming off the bench.
I saw that.
Is that been a concern?
Yeah.
Has that been how do you contextualize that?
Well, when you brought that stat up, I hadn't seen it before. So, yeah, it gave us cause to think, and how do we use subs, and am I too conservative? Should I sub earlier in the game? Should I give guys more chances? How do we use our subs? Is our rotation, through a congested fixture, congested season, how do I do that? So, yeah, it was an interesting stat. I don't have any good answers for it. I don't know if you did any research on previous years, but
Definitely had goals from subs in previous years.
I remember Will Bruin scoring goals late for us. And, we've had guys come on and do a good job for us, but let's just take that for what it is as well. Freddie came on and had another vintage performance. I thought he was really good.
What was Freddie doing well in that? Aside, you take the goal aside from it, but it did feel like he was more active. I think you saw he had something like 13 duels in, 30 minutes or whatever it was.
Yep. He was very good defensively, into the game, wanted to help the team win. Again, he plays perfectly in those pockets, in those soft areas. He's able to turn and then face towards the goal and, continue the attacking movements. So all around, it was a really good performance. And yes, a little bit extra admiration for his effort defensively to keep us, solid defensively there.